Joe Hopkins here, and today I'm going to give you my 2 cents. I'm going to rant. Why am I going to rant? Because I've heard everybody's opinion about what kind of state music is in. What's the state of rock? Where is the rock? The rock and roll, right? And I've heard everybody's opinion. Now you're going to hear mine. I think right now, rock and roll is in the best state it's ever been. And I'll tell you why. It's because of this right here. YouTube. You're watching it. You're watching YouTube. And after you watch me, you can look up any kind of music you want because you have independent artists on YouTube and Spotify and iTunes, and everybody can get out there, right? So you don't need a record label's permission. You don't need to go out there and wow the label people in order to get a contract. And you're not being told what you can and can't do. Now, on the other side of that, you don't have the people that really do help musicians, like good producers. Not all producers, but there are some good ones out there that without them, those classic albums we all love wouldn't sound the way they do. And to be an independent artist, you have to become your own producer or hire a producer or know somebody who's a good producer. But the good thing about that is it is so much easier and accessible to produce your own music. Because what do we have now, man? We got, look, see this microphone? This, and I got an interface, and it didn't cost a lot of money. I can afford it. Now, there's a learning curve. You know, you have to learn how to produce your music. You have to learn all about compression and reverb and EQ and all that stuff and what kind of sound you're going for and kind of develop an ear for it. And there is a learning curve. Your first stuff isn't going to be that well produced, even if it's that well played, and you'll get better as time goes on. But you can do it. You can do it yourself. So that means right now we have just tons of independent artists. A lot of them that are doing it on their own, and a lot of them don't even want a major label contract because what does a label do, man? They send you to their producer and the studio they want to use, and all of that comes out of your end of it. And by the time you see your royalties, you're getting a small little fraction of what it is you actually earned. Whereas as an independent artist, you could make a tenth of what you would have off of that album and see just as much money as you would have with a label. So a lot of people, they want the independence and they want the ability to keep the bulk of their royalties for themselves, to not have to give up their publishing, to, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so you're seeing just a resurgence in everything from like folk rock all the way out to the deepest and darkest of heavy metal. And for those of you that dig heavy metal, just look around, man. There are so many independent metal bands that are just so good, right? And it's not like the major labels don't have good music coming out. And I'm not even just talking about rock, right? With independent artists, all kinds of music. Some of the best country music out there is from independent artists. Because let's face it, the Nashville mainstream stuff kind of sucks, right? We all hear about the Nashville number system, as if country music somehow invented numbering the chords in a key or something. But they stick to a formula so hard, you get no variety. But there is a lot of good country and folk music out there. It's just not in Nashville anymore. It's independent people doing it. But we're talking about rock, because we all want to rock, right? So yeah, there's a lot of good independent artists out there, and it's not like the labels aren't putting out some really good bands. There's some good mainstream stuff out there, and there's some of the bands that have been around a while that are putting out really good music right now, like the Black Keys. They're back, and they just put out, what's it called, Delta Cream, like a bluesy rock album, really good stuff. And I know everybody wants to hate on Greta Van Fleet. That new album of theirs kicks ass, though. And I don't want to hear the whole, oh, they're just a Led Zeppelin copy. Yeah, that's what they said about Rush's first album. That's what they said about Whitesnake. That's what they said about Billy Squier, you know, all them bands early on. So, I mean, no, lots of people have sounded like Zeppelin and then went on to sound like themselves. And Greta Van Fleet's one of them, man. That new album is really good. And, you know, the major labels, they're putting out some good stuff. There's good rock out there. But definitely, you guys have got to check out a lot of the independent stuff. Tell you, one of my favorite ones is a band called The Main Squeeze, and they are really, really good. And of course, they do covers, because to make it on YouTube, you got to do covers. But their original stuff is incredible. It blows my mind. They are absolutely awesome. And there are a lot of other bands that I listen to and that I really like and appreciate that are all doing it on their own. So what's the state of rock? And I think the state of rock is the best ever, because we have all of rock history behind us to pull on. And we have all these independent artists that all sound very, very different from each other. You don't have just one sound that becomes the mainstream, And that's what happened in the past. You'd get one sound. Remember the 80s? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it got to where the hair metal thing. Yeah, by the late 80s, that's all rock was. And then going into the 90s, it started to get a little different, and then you got grunge. And then everybody wanted to sign alternative bands and grunge bands, and that became the thing. But we're not having that. Right now, you got everything. You don't have one sound, and I really like that. I love that, because I don't want to I know there are guys that only listen to one kind of music, but that's rare. Most of us want to hear all kinds of music. Even with our rock and roll, man, we want classic rock, we want heavy metal, we want like blues rock, we want stuff that sounds folkier sometimes. And even better yet, you can have a band that does different styles on different songs. You don't I put out music. It's on my channel. I got a music songs playlist around here somewhere. But Anyway, I don't like to just do one type of music, man. So I'll bounce around a lot. And I know if I was playing with a label, they would tell me I can't do that. You can't do that. You have to stick to one type of thing for the most part. Throw in a loop every once in a while, but you gotta stick to the same kind of thing. I don't want to do that. That's stifling. That kills creativity. And bands now don't have to. You don't have a label telling you have to stick to this. You have to stick to that. You're a country artist. You're a folk artist. You're heavy metal. You're blues rock. Well, you can play whatever you want, and each song can be different. However you want to do it. So not only would I say that rock is in great shape, all of you out there, a lot of you guys, you play guitar, you play bass, you know how to program a computer, like the drums and or even play drums, right? That's the other thing. Drum programming. I hear a lot of people get on that. Well, everything shouldn't be quantized. Well, you should have real drums. Well, I got news for you. I don't have the room or the money to set up real drums. I definitely don't have the room or the money to adequately mic all those drums. That's like at least 8 mics, right? I don't have the interface for it. I can program drums, and now I can do music. And I don't need I can do it on my own. I don't need to spend the money. I don't need to spend the time. I don't need to go find a drummer or pay a drummer. And yeah, sometimes some things are better with real drums. Some things are better with the programmed drums, especially if you're doing it kind of techno and it's obvious. I love doing stuff with programmed drums where it's obviously programmed drums, where that's the point, But besides that, you guys out there, a lot of you are musicians. You can make your own music, and it's cheap. I got a PreSonus audio box kit, right? It was like $400, I think, came with the interface and the mic and the headphones and some software. And that's all you need. And you can start doing it. All you need is that and a couple of instruments. My wife and I went out and bought a bass guitar because we didn't have that. We had an electric guitar, an acoustic guitar, all that stuff. We needed a bass. So with very little outlay, I think we had, I don't know, maybe less than $600 in the whole thing with buying instruments to use, the ones we still needed that we didn't already have. And we got into recording music and releasing music and selling music and going out and touring on our own. And, so, you guys can do it. Be part of the rock scene. Be part of the healthy state of rock. What is the music you want to hear, right? That's what me and my wife did. We're like, well, we want it to sound this way. So now we get to do the music we want to hear. And you could do that too. So Yeah, man, check out some of the independent artists. Go out there, look around Spotify, look around YouTube. The best thing about YouTube that I've found is when you find something you like, it'll suggest something else that is similar. Yeah, that, and Pandora is good for that too. It'll, like, you set up a Pandora station, it'll play more stuff that's similar to that, helps you discover new music. I think Spotify has something similar, iTunes has something similar. So check out some new music and make some new music. You guys make some new music. I'd love to hear your music. Make some music, man. Rock on. And that's my rant, right? Subscribe to my channel so that I can see you in the next video, all right? I love you guys, man. Go out there. Rock and roll, baby. Bye-bye.